gone live.
Great.
Hulu out of all places.
Hulu brings
gave
you
us
great content.
Hellraiser.
It gave you Hellraiser.
First, they gave us Prey, which I never got the chance to fully review, but I spoke about it and said that was a good film. Hellraiser. This is your first technical here. Even though you know of the series, you don't know it the way I do.
Mm-hmm.
But just know that it pulls what all these horror sequels do. It annihilates everything after their original sequel. So you can consider Hellraiser, Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, and this one. But it has no connections to the first two films. It stands on its own.
Yes.
And they added to the lore. But I would say they added and adjusted but kept the same lore intact.
I would say so too. And in case you're wondering, my teeth surgery just is about to begin, so So from now on I'll be masked. Great.
I just want to get one thing out the way because you know the one thing before this started was the controversy of how Pinhead's portrayal was. And if a lot of people don't know, and this is what I told you, and you were like, huh? In the original novel called The Hellbound Heart, Pinhead is...
Just one second. Everybody know this. This is like my first time viewing a Pinhead movie in like almost over a decade. I saw like the very first Hellraiser when I was like 16. So my lore on it is worse than anything Jason or anything after. To me, Pinhead was, he's there. He was that thing to me. Not like you. It was mostly like, yeah, Pinhead. I know Pinhead. He's got the pins. You've heard my reaction several times, so I know.
But me, it's like when you see me and when I saw something, especially when I saw Dead by Daylight, where the fuck was I?
No, but you were all hyped. You see, here's what I'm trying to say: the differences between me and you. You know the lore, everything like that. Me, I basically what you could consider at this point a normie walking into it. So you've got up there a guy who knows all the lore and everything to this series, and me, someone who usually analyzes fiction and all that stuff and cooks a dog that's in his background. Unfortunately, his dog's not in my closet. Who's normal to this? So I'm basically coming in this as a non-biased view.
Yeah.
He's got the bias factor by I know the series. I'm literally right now the non-biased.
But here's the thing: not necessarily. I will admit I am biased to Hellraiser and Hellbound. Everything afterwards, I don't fucking like. I don't like everything afterwards.
No, I'm referring to as the guy that has followed all the lore and stuff up till then.
Yeah.
And I'm just like basically. Y'all gonna get spoilers? If so, let me know.
Yeah, we will because
yes,
I've seen it. I've seen it twice. Keo just got done watching it.
I just got done watching it, and do you see his facial reaction? Unfortunately, my teeth were...
You have no facial reaction, but if you do right now, you're probably like... Because the first thing I heard you say at the opening, you were like, what the fuck?
Yes.
Now, here's the thing.
One thing it did do, it subverted a few of the tropes.
It does subversion correctly.
Because, remember, John couldn't see me. I had my phone like this on audio form, and basically several times like they're gonna do this, and he's like, you may be right, and I was right. And then there's one time like, this guy's gonna die right here. It's a typical trope, and I go, what? And you started laughing
because it's like
you started laughing because you go, for once, Kyo, you're wrong. For once, you're wrong.
Because it's like the movie it's trying because in the first Hellraiser film. You really can't tell. It was very straightforward, but it had a lot of lore thrown into it. The second one is basically the first film on steroids. Now, this one dialed it back to it feels like you're watching the first film in a new Hellraiser what could be a new Hellraiser series. Well, and they I will just get it out the way. People always seem to think we have an issue with people of LGBTQ communities. And you know what I'm going to tell them? Jamie Clayton is the person's name who plays Pinhead. That is a trans actress. And she fucking knocked the Hell Priest role out of the park. Doug Bradley would always be original Pinhead.
It's like Doug Bradley holds the Pinhead title just like the Freddy
Yes.
Krueger guy. Even though they did a remake or whatever, you cannot replace that guy's original
You cannot.
one-liner. So,
But
if you're going for a new reboot to
this is neither though. This is supposed to take place in the universe.
Exactly. They're trying to do a Star Trek 2009.
Yeah.
Okay, Star Trek 2009, Into Darkness and Beyond, which Into Darkness with your super blow, go kiss my ass.
Where the Star Trek movies kind of freaking went down after that 2009 reboot, this Hellraiser.
No, this Hellraiser could literally be considered almost, if I'm going timeline wise, it's its own timeline, own thing. Like 2009 was supposed to be. There's the event that connected it to basically the main first timeline.
Yeah.
All the cards, adventures, all of them happen here. 2009 versus its own thing. It's very similar to. Let me give you a good one. Oh God, what? How do I put this? What was it that did branching stories that we know of?
Shit, like branching stories that actually come off really like that are actually good. I can't. There's really actually not that many, because when I
had to answer, I literally had it like the branching.
You're right. You're right.
It's the Zelda timeline.
Hold on. You're right. You're right, J Chip. The guy who played in the the Nightmare on Elm Street reboot, he's a good actor because he played Rorschach from Watchmen. He was a good Freddy in a bad movie.
Exactly. But
he's a great Freddy in a bad movie.
I remember
Halloween does that. You're right, JJ. The Halloween movies do that because they have 3 fucking timelines.
Mm-hmm. I was just trying to say it's like Zelda. Zelda does this damn thing.
Yes,
there's the
exactly.
First timeline from the Ocarina split, from the Ocarina of Time, there was all those others. Okay, for those who don't know the Zelda timeline, Kage, sorry, I'm going to just smash your series to oblivion and back for a minute because it's stupid what they did. You have Ocarina. Ocarina goes like this, and this is why I said it's basically a divergent timeline.
Man, this fucking chair.
When that happens, where Zelda does her stupid trick, things go along like this, which creates the Wind Waker timeline, which is screwed up. Then you have from here Twilight Princess timeline, where things Link went back, and then here you have the third timeline, because the third timeline was created because of Miyamoto thing, but the third timeline is probably where Breath of the Wild takes place.
Now you have a fourth one because of the Breath of the Wild timeline.
That's where the third timeline probably takes place. Oh. Everyone just basically says it's probably the third timeline. They just have yet to verify.
So it's like the thing is
that's basically what this is. You have Pinhead timeline here, and then Pinhead, and I can tell you how they could pull off this branch thing when the wish is made. Make it so one of the wish events happened.
Yeah, that's quick spoiler is that they don't rewrite the lore of the first 2 films, or they don't rewrite the lore of the Cenobites, Leviathan, nothing. They add to it, and they only adjust certain rules because this is a Clive Barker thing where the title of Pinhead is not solely one person. It is a mantle in the realm of the Cenobites. It's a mantle. So if we go back to Hellraiser 1 and 2, canonically, Pinhead died in Hellraiser 2. And if they're going by the books and the comic books for this female Pinhead, if they do a sequel, you could say that this is Kirsty from the first 2, because canonically she becomes the Hell Priestess. Now, the thing about Jamie Clayton, though, this is a role for an actress that is, yes, a trans actress. Why? Because Cenobites are meant to be both genders. You can't tell until you see, not even her physical form. Only in her face and her movements does she look female. But she didn't mimic Doug Bradley. She didn't even fucking take any of his quotes. She had her own quotes, her own movements, her own style to it. And I was just like, yeah, of course the hooks and chains are abilities that come with being Pinhead.
That's the signature of the Hellraiser franchise next to the Pinhead thing. Because it's like if you took Jason's knife away from him.
You mean Michael's knife?
Michael's knife away from him.
The machete.
Jason's machete. If you took the machete away from Jason and you took the knife away from Michael, they're unrecognizable.
And the thing I like about this
signature thing, if you're going to make it like this,
Yeah.
Hellraiser's signature thing is the chains. That's its signature.
And I really like how every Cenobite is tailored to your desire or your temptation, and that's the Cenobite that goes after you. Because there's a new addition to the box. Instead of just solving it, you solve it, but if there's a little blade that comes out, and if it cuts you, you are marked specifically for a Cenobite, for a specific Cenobite to come get you. And what I like is now they give lore to the configuration itself. Every configuration does something different.
Because until then, it was always, oh crap, I opened the box.
You open it, you're fucked.
Yeah, you're fucked.
But now they put rules. There's actually rules in place.
What they did was they add rules magic, which is that's
the thing. That's the thing. They kind of do need a cap, because if you watch Hellraiser 1 and 2, once they come, it's a fucking done. It's a done deal. It's a wrap. You're fucked in either direction. And the same in the comic books and in the novels. But for a movie to imagine Texas Chainsaw exactly.
Here's a good thing for you. For a guy who read both the novels and the comics, what is your thinking portrayal from them? Because novels, comics are completely different animals.
They are different.
Live action.
Okay, if you want to look at it, the Hellbound.
How they do with the lore and the character instead of the kills and stuff.
They took lore from bits and pieces and only added to the film's rules. So, like you said, if we go based off the branching arc of, we have to consider Hellraiser and then the Hellraiser book, the Hellraiser films, the Hellraiser comic line, and now where this is going.
Mm-hmm. So,
in terms, this is a good start because it goes back to the somewhat subtlety of the first film, and it feels like you took the beginning as the subtleties of the first film and then the craziness that happens in part 2, because part 2, the reason why 1 and 2 were, Hellraiser and Hellraiser Hellbound, it almost feels like one film split into 2, where the first one is a big setup and the second one just runs with everything because the rules are set.
Actually, that was funny. That's one thing I noticed this film did is it's like the very beginning until we get to the house, we're all setting everything up, and then shit hits the fan.
I like that. I like the house because that was from a canceled Hellraiser script. Because a lot of people have been trying to do Hellraiser for years, and there was a lost script that had the idea of the house being a lament configuration. It would have been like a unique aspect, but they brought it here and they made it make sense because of the guy who's involved. If you ever seen Hellraiser 2, there's a guy called Dr. Channard. There's a guy in this movie called Voight, and Voight is a billionaire version of Dr. Channard, where Dr. Channard wanted power through everything he did because he was such a wicked man in life. Voight wanted knowledge and power.
Yeah, well, I thought that knowledge was more replaced with pleasure.
Well, you saw what happened to him.
That was not pleasure. That was
what it did. Well, that's the thing. You have to know about the Cenobites is where they're from. It's one and the same.
It's more of like it's the gin effect.
Yeah,
it's literally okay. I would love to have every drink taste something. Well, everything tastes like something.
So, like, it's just like, and the characters, a lot of people are going to say, oh, it had a, nope, I'll tell you right now, even Hellraiser fans are saying, if you say this film is woke, you're fucking retarded.
To tell you as a guy who knows woke things and then literally just saw Jurassic Park Dominion, which was shitty, this was fairly much better, in my opinion, than what I just
This knows where it comes from.
And if I'm saying with someone who knows the source material, who's been telling me, is like, yeah, they did fairly good. I don't see anything bad to complain about this film other than the ending, which we'll get to.
That's a trope. That's the thing. Even I say we'll get to that, but yeah, but that's a trope. I'll say now with even the beginning, even the first 2 Hellraiser films, that is kind of
it too easy to solve. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's like a 100-piece jigsaw puzzle. J-Ship show. You're right. Okay.
No, they actually don't. That's the thing. They explain it in the books, but it really is easy. It's meant to be easy to make it easy. Yes, because it's a trap, basically.
But I find it funny how J-Chip just basically said, is it just me or is the puzzle too easy to solve? Well, yeah, it's easy because it's designed to let the genie out of the lamp.
But in this one, they change it to where you have to solve 6 configurations. The box does something new.
The box is the starting point. It's literally the start and end form.
Yeah,
it starts off with the box and ends with the box.
And if you go back and watch Hellraiser 2, even though it stays in the box form the whole time, when Pinhead, this was a scene in the movie where he was like, he told Kirsty, he's like, how can the box send us back, child? We're already here in the labyrinth, and so are you. So when he snaps his hands, the box goes into the Diamond Leviathan configuration. So that's an idea that they kind of took from 2, and they ran with it, saying that, okay,
the Leviathan is just this big-ass diamond, and I guess, well, the rich dude got his... Okay, that's actually...
To become a Cenobite means power.
There's a plot hole. That's actually a semi-plot hole to a degree, if I really am. Now I'm sitting here thinking on it.
Wait, which part?
The guy got his wish granted. You're only supposed to get two wishes.
No. Actually, no. I thought that at first, too. Pinhead, the first time they dealt with him, they misinterpreted what he wanted. He wanted power, not the knowledge. So the power...
But I meant, like, he got a second wish. But
it was her life. But I'm saying, if you want to look at it, it would either be the girl's life or his life.
Oh,
so Pinhead was reasonable. Pinhead was reasonable to a point, so they were like, we'll take him.
That's true. He'd already been sucked up into the diamond. So he didn't fully get his wish. He got half a wish. Plus, I like the fact that it's basically, I give you a middle finger. And she's like,
well, no, if you go back to Hellraiser 2, the guy, Dr. Chernard, he wanted power.
No, I meant the girl. The girl gave him the middle finger. She's
basically.
All your wishes. These are not wishes. These are curses. And she's like, well, if you leave, you're still cursed. You're still screwed.
Because you're basically scarred. But she'd rather deal with the scarring and the trauma than what the fuck. It's like, I'd rather deal with PTSD of what I just seen than to fucking go in there.
It's basically, you can either live with regret, your moral life, live with regret, or you get this power and this stuff, but you're full of regret anyway, but you're screwed. It's screwed up.
Well, no, because the thing about a Cenobite is, when you become one, after the process is done, that's no longer considered painful to you at all.
Yeah.
So you only suffer during the transformation, but then when it's over, it's not painful. So in a way, the doctor got what he wanted. He's a Cenobite, and a Cenobite has what? Power.
Power.
That's exactly what he got. So he did get his wish. It's a fucked up thing because they obviously don't tell you that, but that's what you have to assume by the second film. What the doctor wanted was the power. Leviathan had chosen him. He's like, you know what? You're worthy of this gift. So, boom, turns right into a Cenobite. And you only see a brief variation of how the Cenobite is made in part 2. And this one, you see the full fucking onslaught of it. And now, where do you sit with each of the, like, people will say, oh, it's just a group of young adults that would be like, it kind of is, but there's a reason why each of them are involved, because each Cenobite is made for a specific person.
It's made for a specific person, and they appear on what your kink or you're into.
Yes. So think about it like this. Riley, she had addiction.
But hers was the priestess. Believe it or not, the one that appeared her was the priestess, Pinhead itself. That was weird. The only one that deviated with the addiction was the teeth one. You know, that she
Chatterer.
That was the one Pinhead.
Yeah, Chatterer. And that's the thing. They went with
the rest of them, like the atheist.
The atheist Asian, she got the, if you see the one Cenobite that, like, he didn't have eyes or anything, he's called the mask. Like, there's nothing there, but you can see he's still functional.
And the one guy that wants to live, or whatever you call it, I can't think of it. The one in the house, I can't think of it. The non-straight guy's friend, the guy with the glasses. Well, I guess.
Oh, but just let everyone know, yes, there's a gay couple in here, but the thing about it is, that is what you consider. It's still to have that kind of aspect in the film, because
it wasn't shoved in my face. I'll tell you one thing.
Yes, you have two straight characters, a single character, which is the Asian woman, and then you have a two gay couple. But the thing about Hellraiser, and that even this, if that's one thing that does consist throughout the entirety of the other movies, is that they are all tied to different forms of sexual desire.
Which you can equate to the fact that in every Jason film, Michael Myers film, they all, if you smoke pot, you die. That would include, John, you're so dead in any horror setting, you pothead.
I wouldn't be there to find out.
Well, if you got sucked into one, you're dead because you would immediately be. So what? Wait, what would you fall under since you consumed that nice? What would you fall
if I don't?
under?
Hey, I'm not stupid enough to let my hand get fucking cut. If you know what's fucked up, I'm taking the box and I'm stabbing 6 other people.
No, I'm like, if you had to be a centipede, which one would you be?
I don't know what I would be stuck as. That's the shit.
I don't know if there's one for Pride. I'd probably be stuck as
there
Pride.
Probably is. No, I think there is one. The Baron Cenobite from the comics. He's based through Pride.
Oh, that would suck.
Yeah. So.
But you said they killed a centipede, which people would say, "Oh, that's a mere." Actually, as
they killed Chatterer. Chatterer got killed. But the thing about Chatterer is, it makes sense that I would allow Chatterer to get put out of his misery. Why? Because in lore, Chatterer is just a 9-year-old boy in that big ass body of a Cenobite.
Wait, you mean he stabbed 7 people?
No, in the original, in the past, because you would have to consider that the background of the Cenobites are still the same. Yes. Chatterer, when he was a little German boy from, I think, the 40s or something like that.
During he found World War II.
He found the box. He just assumed it was just a puzzle game. He didn't get the hooks or the chains. When he solved it, what opened it was his innocent desire. He obviously, curiosity is innocent. So the moment he went into the labyrinth, Leviathan himself favored him because he was like, damn, this is kind of at least Leviathan showed a variation of mercy, because they said that the transformation was instant for him. He didn't go.
That's still messed up.
It is, but it's almost like he didn't feel it. He just
he didn't have to go through the painful process that Dr. Von Doom.
Exactly. So if you could say that was one variation of Leviathan's mercy, and ever since then, Leviathan has made him the right-hand man of hell. Chatterer is technically the right-hand man of hell, along with Pinhead. Like Pinhead and even the male Pinhead, and considering this Pinhead, because Pinhead in the realm of the Cenobites, that title is second to Leviathan.
You know what's funny? They never mentioned the word Pinhead once in this movie.
They don't at all. That's a term that all the fans made. It's considered the Hell Priest. You're considered the Hell Priest.
But they don't even say the Hell Priest at all.
Yeah, they don't, because you assume that that's a title you should already know.
No, but in the story itself.
No, that's the thing. They don't say it, but the Hell Priest is a canonical term. It's canonical.
No, I'm just saying for somebody.
Yeah, they don't mention it.
As a newbie guy, like I said.
No, yeah, you're right. Yeah, they don't mention it, but as someone who knows,
this is called Pinhead. I know him as Pinhead, but they don't mention Pinhead. Interesting little footnote. They didn't shove that down my throat.
And it's a while since one of these movies was fully. This was a 2-hour film.
Yes, it was. You were sitting there laughing at half of my reactions.
But at not one point was I bored when I watched it. I was like, whoa.
It was enjoyable. It was a very enjoyable movie. It wasn't for the fact that...
Because, the fact that I had to go back and be like, I believe my first mention of it was in the 3rd. Yeah, they mentioned... Hold on, Keo. You,
I'll take over. It's fine.
Yeah, explain your thing real quick while I got calling. I'm coming.
Well, J-Ship Show, I can tell you they did the 3 forms of storytelling pretty good. Show, don't tell. Tell, don't show. Show and tell. I mean, with the Asian girl's death, they did all 3. I mean, show and tell, both, whatever. Yeah, we see that. Oh my God, that Asian girl's death was the most brutalest one of them all. Holy crap! Talk about meaty and fleshy and chunky. Ugh. Although I did laugh that the time you find out the doctor's notes within the foot, do you get the big lore exposition? They might as well have slammed you across the head with the word symbolism. Oh, don't get me started on the ending with the rich guy becoming the new Pinhead, with him being what looks like crucified and possibly looking like a fallen angel. Symbolism.
No, Leviathan is supposed to be Lucifer, basically.
No. The Doctor, when he was strapped up, the way he was strapped up at the end of it, that was just straight up symbolism.
Oh yeah. You're right.
I'm talking about how they didn't just slam me over the face constantly with symbolism, because
they didn't.
Or slam me with some form of ideology. I didn't get slammed with an ideology once. Now the gay couple thing, that was like so brief. You wouldn't even. I didn't barely remembered it. The only reason I remembered it was because it's a trope. That's it.
Exactly. But the thing is, since it falls under the many forms of what Cenobites, the different desires and sexualities, since that's what's considered a forbidden, heretical desire, it still falls under the principles as yes, they will get fucked.
Oh no! This J-Chip, this is interesting. This has subtle horror. This is a horror film. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah, it goes back to the first film, where the second film.
Horror.
Yeah, all the other ones are over the top. This one, it goes back to the first one, where you see the beginning process of the kills, but then you witness the aftermath. So it's almost like they want you to think about what the fuck was going to happen.
I can give you a good example of the Sword of Damocles one. Imagine a nuke coming and to drop on us right now, but we don't know when it's going to hit. It's coming.
Mm-hmm.
That's. But
for the gore you do see,
and then somebody comes in and they see the aftermath of the bomb. See, what we're seeing is the quiet horror, the subtle horror. That's one of the things they did a lot in this movie. Example A, when the girl first figured out the box and the priestess appeared before her, she's spinning on that merry-go-round, and then she's still drugged and strung up.
And the way the merry-go-round looks, it looks like the rotation of the lament configuration, which is the box.
And another messed up part is, and this is again, they said show don't tell or tell don't show. When her flatmate died, who was taking care of trying to get her clean, they didn't show how he died. That was the first one they didn't show on screen. It's implied he died and that he's missing of some sort. That's the
thing. Once you're taken with it, you're fucked. You're gone.
You know what I mean? She only heard. She heard him scream. That's it. So it's the quiet. You know it's there. There's something extremely dangerous. It's almost like what the Predator was in the very first Predator movie.
Mm-hmm. It's exactly like that. Because if you go to the first Hellraiser movie, when Frank opens the box at the beginning, Frank in the first movie, all you see is the hooks hit him, but you see the aftermath and the viscera hanging all over the stuff. That's how this one is. It goes back to using the similar framing of the camera work. And what I do like especially is that...
Actually, that's why I'm basically here. I'm a non-biased source, J-Chip.
They redid.
I saw like the first one way back when I was younger, and I just like I said.
Just look at the first one's on Tubi, Kyo.
Yeah, I guess I'll have to look at sometime.
They're on Tubi now, so
while my jaw is recovering, so I guess that's a good time.
The what they did is like, you know how most modern remakes don't even use their score no more.
That was, you know what's funny?
They brought the fucking Hellraiser score from the first two into this, and they did it original and the same. Huh?
I didn't hear music the whole time I was there, and it didn't bug me. I would have known there was music if I was paying attention heavily. But
the score is there.
I didn't pay attention to the score like some fans would. That's
when Leviathan shows up. That's when you hear it in full.
Yes, the one time you hear it sticks out is when Leviathan pops up. That is true.
Yeah, like you hear the theme in full.
That's the one time they played the music full blast. But the rest of it, just like I said, quiet horror was played a lot. The music is very subtle.
And they did the re-rendition of the bell tolls. Like, for whom the bell tolls, whenever the Cenobites come, you hear the boom.
Funny fact. Riley could hear the bell because she'd been marked, but she was constantly not being killed. She can hear the bell, so when
whoever's marked hears the bells coming.
Mm-hmm. You know, that's also another messed up thing. I just realized something. If she's around, if they decide to make a second one, if it is, she's gonna constantly hear those bells going.
No, not anymore. When you're not marked anymore, you don't hear it.
No, because
this thing, she survived. This thing, of course, she survived. Her and her friend managed to survive because they do the one thing that is also implied in the first film. The Cenobites can be reasoned with to a point.
Oh yeah, they were it was actually funny. That is true. The best example I can give you is midway before we start going into, we see how they really want to kill people.
Yeah.
In the house after the Asian chick was killed, the centipede woman appears right before her.
You call them fucking centipedes.
Centipede just literally appeared right before her. Cenobite, whichever one you want to call it. They're based off a centipede. So whatever. You want to say they're non-gender, they're centipede. There you go. Call me biased or radical, whatever. Whichever one you want to pit. But it appears right before her, and it gives her a choice. It says, she gives Riley a choice. She's like, hey, I could spare you, not kill you, but someone else has to die in your place.
You have to mark another person, yeah.
Yep. And it's like, I won't kill you right now. I'll give you 2 minutes. And you have, if you watch the movie timeline, like movie time, there was like 1 minute, maybe a minute before the centipede start. The little kid one, the 9-year-old, started chasing her.
The Chatterer.
Yeah, it was like the priestess gave them like her 2 minutes. Like, make your choice now and run for the hills.
But when she got into the house and she made her decision, at least all she want, then all they said was
the Asian one. The Asian was like the Asian one that strapped up the one guy when she stabbed her, backstabbing. Yeah, I called it. The boyfriend knew too much. Sorry. The twist.
Yeah, of course, you always got somebody in the universe that has a fascination and understanding with the boxes. Not knowing what they can do, they always want other people to be the victims. So therefore, they can experience but not be physically involved. But this time, they kind of changed that because the fuck? They implied that now this time the Cenobites are not as gullible as they kind of were when it came to the deals.
Oh yeah, these deals with the devil suck. But I mean,
these deals with the devil suck.
I mean, poor Asian oh God, hers was, look for pleasure. God save me. She literally says the chant of, as an atheist, literally says every form of chant. And
then Pinhead tells her, and she goes like this. She goes, "What is it you pray for?" I'm going to ask you again. What is it you pray for?
I'm sorry, Centipede. That freaking. I was actually cringing very bad. John was laughing his ass off because when I see the needle go through her neck.
I was like, oh shit.
I was like, oh, this is just, that was the one thing that got me squeamish. And then you're like, what about the rest of it? I was like, oh, the rest is not that bad. But that needle, the way they shot the needle though. Ugh. Now, here's the funny thing, John. Was this a low budget movie? Because I kind of called it at one point in the film.
That's the thing. It is and it isn't, because they save the effects for when it's necessary.
Because there's a lot of practical effects. If anybody knows,
yes, exactly.
A lot of physical effects is why most.
I think the only one that's CGI, but he looked practical, was Leviathan. Oh, and the Labyrinth obviously is.
Yeah,
CGI.
I was about to say there's a couple things there that are CG. Yeah.
Yeah, Kage, we just...
Oh, wait, Kage,
I watched...
Did you send Kage that video, since he's a religious person?
I will in a little bit.
You need to send that man that religious video, and then he can come in here and help us with that religious video. Send him that, Kage. There's a great video that John will send you to watch, and then we can come in here and your opinion, because we need some comedy later. The video flabbergasted me to the point where I had to watch Hellraiser to get my mind off it. Because of the insanity.
Now you got me fucking looking for all this shit. I just dropped my phone in the process.
Did you drop it in water?
No, do you know how many times I done dropped this fucking phone and yet it does not break or crack or nothing?
But they do. No, we'll send you the invite, but you must first watch what we send you. It's not Hellraiser. Yeah. But trust me, what this is a form of Hellraiser. I am sending you a centipede or Cenobite. This video is its own Cenobite. That's why I had to go meet all the Cenobites.
See, the thing is, since you now know, you really don't. Since I know you've never known what these guys, what the Cenobites really like stand for, or anything like that. Basically, what the term Cenobite means in this universe is member of a religious order. So you got to think about it. These guys technically are following a religion, and they want to do their job. If you stop them from doing their job, it is worse on you, even if you're not marked.
Why do you think the poor guy with the clock in his chest got it so bad when he pissed them all off? And they were so eager to get the boyfriend too, because he was.
Because his what's it called? His was pleasure through deceit.
Yes, and oh my God, his death was pretty brutal too. But hey, he had it coming, and it was pretty good too because the woman's.
Oh, he says he's seen that video before.
Wait, you've seen that video before?
Kage, did you watch? Did you watch
the family meltdown?
Did Kage, have you ever seen Hellraiser before? Or do you have Hulu so you could watch this one? Because if you have Hulu, I recommend that you watch this one.
Wait, how's he seen the video that you're going to send him? It came out today. That was today, unless he's talking about the call. Just send him the phone and the call.
I am. Hold up. Oh, he must have seen the TikToks before of it. All right, there you go. It was on my Facebook feed. Okay, so
you were on your Facebook feed, so that's how it was.
He's got. So that means he's got Hulu. Yes, this is on Hulu, Kage. This movie. So you can watch it. It's a 2-hour film. Maybe after hearing us talk about this a little bit more, you're probably gonna be like, "What?"
I had to bring up the branching timelines. It's the only thing that makes sense.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because oh crap, Link's here. Look, sorry, I blasphemed you. Hell, the centipedes got one of your realms. It's the third timeline. Sorry, I had to borrow your timelines for an example.
All right, what do you sons of bitches send me that video?
It was Keo's idea.
Hey, I caused a family uproar after I saw that. John's whole family wanted to kill each other.
I'll keep that in mind.
Fucking God. And yes, I seen that video because of a Facebook feed on my Facebook account.
That nearly, I'm sorry, that made me, a non-believer type person's head explode.
And yes, I seen that shit. It was.
What's funny is you're technically watching a movie that also has somewhat religious undertones through demented pain and pleasure.
I needed.
That's what I was talking about.
Wait, you watched this movie already, Kage?
I don't want to talk about it.
Wait, you watched Hellraiser?
I don't want to. No, I don't want to talk about it.
Wait, you watched this movie, Hellraiser?
God.
It just came out yesterday.
I was searching on Hulu. I was going around.
Okay, I got it. You found it on Hulu that way. Okay, that makes sense.
He found it by accident and stumbled upon. He's like, I'm pretty sure he's like, John has mentioned this movie before somewhere, and now he's like, John, what the fuck are you into?
You took the words exactly out of my mouth.
I got forced to watch it because I needed to get that TikTok.
Seriously, man, what the fuck are you into?
Here's the thing, Kage. This is a unique slasher series, basically.
Here's a good, just I'm going to point out for. Did any of that feel woke to you?
Let's not.
No, seriously, that's a complaint that's been around. I just said no. The only thing that was in there was the non-straight person. That was only one time that thing was shown, and then they just literally, you knew that person was straight, so he has a death flag on him. I can take that.
I think it's the Cenobites that bother Kia because he's never. I'm pretty sure Kage has never seen horror killers do things to the degree that these things can do.
You pretty much hit the nail in the coffin, pal.
Oh, the nail in the head.
The Asian. Why do all Asians die such a horrific death?
The Asian, she got the hooks and the chains, dude. She got the fucking.
Seriously, what the fuck? And the weird thing is, my mom was like stepping into the room and go like, "What the fuck are you watching?"
I was speechless. I when I saw that, I was like, "Oh no!" Oh.
I just go like, some friends recommend me this shit, and next you know, I literally just watch it, and next you know, she just runs to her car. And never came back.
Unfortunately, this Asian is not like Emily in Until Dawn, who I wanted to die.
Exactly. You kind of feel bad for this bitch because she's innocent.
Of course.
But the thing is, Kage, how do you feel? And this is what's going to shock you. Do you know that this Pinhead, it's a trans person?
What?
Yeah, I was.
But let me tell you something. That's lore accurate. Why?
Why?
Because only in the Pinhead and only in the original movies, because it was set in, because obviously it's the 80s, every killer was basically a man. It was rewritten to be a male. But in the original book that was based on this, Pinhead is a trans entity. So this is lore accurate. And this actor or actress, I don't know which one to fucking say, made the role.
By the way, thanks for telling me that, because I was about to go on a full-on rant on this video and saying, why is this woke shit still alive? Until you told me, the backstory between Pinhead. So
this is lore accurate. The same thing with, yes, even though there was a gay couple in the film, the thing about the Pinhead series, the Hellraiser series, is that there is punishment for different forms of sexual desire, including gay desires. So yes, there is a punishment for it.
All right, J-Chip Show here. Here's the link to my public Discord server, the one I died. So of us are in there. There you go.
Basically,
public Discord server, temporary link.
And even then, the comic books and the books themselves, even though yes, in the comic books it continues with Pinhead still being a guy, canonically, Pinhead officially does die in the second film, and in the comic books, the victim that he was after, who survived the first two films, she became Pinhead. So if they do a sequel, you could easily say that this is the original survivor from the first two films, took his place.
So Pinhead is not a name; it's a title.
It's a mantle in hell. It's a mantle in hell. Yes.
It's a fan-made title. Surprisingly, I just
well,
found that out.
It's a fan-made title, but it's Hell Priest is the official title. Hell Priest or Pinhead. Pinhead is more popular, yes, but Hell Priest is the canonical term, and that is a mantle in hell. That basically you are the right hand of the devil.
Oh, here's a good question for you, Kage. What did you think of the form of horror they used in this?
Excuse me?
The form of horror, because the horror they used in this horror
film... It was
film
body horror.
Was quiet horror. I gave the demonstration, or I gave the good analogy earlier. Imagine you know a nuke's coming, you're going to die, but you don't know when it's coming right there.
Mm-hmm.
On its way. That's the horror they used. But then, later, people come by and they see...
I was wondering what the hell that was about. I thought it was really just psychological horror.
Well, no. Because if you go back and if you go to Tubi, Kage, the very first original Hellraiser is on there, which I think you might have an easier time watching that one. They filmed this one in the very same way. You see the shit happen, but then you see the aftermath. So you got to figure out what the fuck just happened to this person. Or you'll see it in the background, like in the beginning when the girl's brother got sacrificed. You see it in the background that he's all fucking hooked up and he's being tormented with the chains while the dude is looking at the puzzle box change.
But, oh, wait, by the way, who owns Hellraiser?
Clive Barker.
No. Property-wise, because I do not want another Rooster Teeth, isn't it? Rooster Teeth, go find a rooster.
No, it belongs to the director.
No. Copyright.
No, copyright too. It's his. He helped make this film because he got the rights back recently. So it's solely his word. Anything like that goes. So he's not backed by anything. The film was already made. So instead of pushing it through a major studio, it was pushed through Hulu. Because Hulu has been on a fucking ball recently. The Predator prequel. That one.
Just
so, and now this.
Just to know, basically, this guy's not going to come after you like the Death Battle thing and copyright claim me for using this.
No,
logo.
but here's the thing. I'm not showing anything. I'm just showing.
I know. I'm just saying
image.
Because what happened? Rooster Teeth can go find.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Kage. I forgot to tell you that they not only my video was supposed to be privated and I put the dispute. The dispute in 2 minutes was rejected, and before I even got the choice, YouTube just deleted the video out of my creator thing area.
Yep.
Also, speaking of that, I debated your hater.
Oh, and possibly tomorrow we're gonna battle the Sonic fan base live tomorrow.
Again?
No, it's gonna be a standalone stream.
Oh my god!
Didn't we do that once already? That's on my end.
Already have PTSD battling the Sonic community. I don't want to tackle those guys again.
Well, you're not by yourself because they never fucked with me.
What did you do, John?
I'm telling you right now, These guys are ruthless. The Sonic fan base, coming from one who was part of it, are ruthless.
Well, guess what? We're angels to some, demons to others.
God damn it! You had to quote the older Hellraiser films.
I love, okay, I'm gonna say this right now. I really love that quote, and I really praise you for that, John.
Because, well, if there's one thing oh, that's another thing. They
Here's the thing. That dude in the comments section that continues to trash Trunks with no logic, and even said that the tweet from the creator that said, "Oh, Trunks should have won," is a lie. He said he said the creator's a liar.
Why?
Really?
So guess what?
Wait a minute. That means the Sonic community just got dissed because their god had spoken.
So guess what? Their suffering.
You mean Yuji Naka? Yuji Naka is their god.
Yeah.
Their suffering will be legendary, even in hell.
Because I mean, seriously, if you just disrespected your own god that said what's his face should have won, that's pretty bad.
Speaking of which, like, here's the thing. I was surprised. Like I said, I was surprised. Kage, were you surprised how long this movie was for a fucking, not only a Hellraiser movie, for a horror movie as of recent?
For an A movie.
I'm actually shocked. That this is like number 2 trending horror movie. Besides,
it's a solid, because the thing about Hellraiser, it's not in your face horror. It fucks with you in here and right here with what you see. You're like,
I could.
Yeah, that too.
Asian Kill is the one that messed with me the most. Sorry,
I
can't get with that needle. The way that needle went in, it wouldn't.
In her fucking throat. And that's the thing. When you were listening to how Pinhead, she says, "In our realm," or something along the lines of, "In our realm, this is pleasurable," which is basically the screaming of twisting that nail through her muscular, making her scream. She was basically controlling her screaming octave.
John.
Hey, I just got done watching that, so that whole section.
Hold on, you guys handle that triple quick. I gotta see what the fuck is. Oh, why did I just cancel that screen, son of a bitch? I meant to put my camera screen off. Where is it? Stop camera. Okay, I need to see who the fuck was calling me. You guys continue to display your fucking freak, because here's the thing, Hellraiser. I'm kind of pissed. I'm gonna tell you something. There's actually a canceled script for, it's called Halloween Hellraised, where it was gonna be Michael Myers versus Pinhead.
God damn it!
Don't we? Never mind. Those are fan-made films. They kind of don't count, even though some are good.
I know. Also, damn, Joe.
What is it this time?
I know this is kind of off topic right now, but are you aware of? And let me ask you this, chat. Are you aware of Andrew Tate?
Yes, I'm aware of that. The thing that is a whole discussion that is just by itself.
You know what's sad? He had the right words, but in the wrong way.
Yep.
Where the hell did you come from?
I just came back into my room.
He has the camera off. You can't see him. Just like how I'm having to wear a mask because of how bad my mouth looks.
So yeah, I wish we could discuss that right now.
Oh, trust me, we could probably cover that in the Sonic thing, because the Sonic thing is going to be something. Like I said, I've got all this shit planned. I was originally going to do a video reviewing Hellraiser, but the problem was, right now my PlayStation is out on the TV in my bedroom, and everybody's using it, so I can't get footage, because I have Pinhead, the original Pinhead. I have him on Dead by Daylight, and he's not level 99 for no fucking reason. I'll be like this, where are you running? Hooked chains.
So, actually, this is more interesting, better of a review, because if you want my opinion, I was going to review it, but basically, my mouth is too messed up for me to have a whole camera do. If I was number-wise, what would you give it?
Huh?
What would you give it on numerical score?
Even though I'm a fan of the first two and the expanded media that's not those other fucking films, it's still, it's at least an 8. Just on the border of 8 and let's say 7.9 if I was going to, because what it still lacks is they should have found a way to interweave it with the first two at least more coherently, because they said, the director said that this takes place in the Hellraiser universe, but does it take place, have all the movies already happened, or just the first two? I like the ambiguity of the Cenobites and everything, but I want to at least have a greater understanding. And I get that that's a point of the Hellraiser series, ambiguity. I understand that, but there's just with today's modern audiences, only Hellraiser fans will understand ambiguity.
Oh,
not the rest of the modern audiences, but they have a chance. And I would not mind if this film is the jumping point. Let's just say kind of like how the first one, how part 1 and part 2 go hand in hand. I don't mind if they do that with this one, where this one is like the start. I wouldn't mind if this is just a 2-part movie where they go to...
the truth, for someone like me, John, who just saw the Hellraiser movies today, I'm interested to binge the ones on Tubi after this. Because it's a good entry point. I would say this is a good
I'm going to give you this. Because J-Chip did say... Yes, I don't like 3 and 4, but I
want to see the first 2 that everyone's
you can watch 3 and 4 because the thing is, it's kind of like it does the whole Pirates of the Caribbean thing again, where you have to watch you could watch part 1 and 2 as one whole movie, then you watch 3 and 4. 4.
This ain't the Reanimator thing problem.
Yes, it's kind of like that. 4 pushes it a little too fucking much, but it shows you the prequel of the box. It's a prequel. The problem with part 4, it's a prequel, a sequel, and another fucking movie at the same time. It's 3 Hellraiser movies fused into one, where it should have just been probably the origins of the box, where the second movie is the origin of Pinhead. The 4th movie is the origins of the box.
Okay. But I was just back to the point. I was just saying. I'm interested in going to watching Hellraiser again to refresh my memory. So this is a pretty good movie in my opinion. I give it, as a guy who hasn't watched Hellraiser, it's probably like I said, the very first Hellraiser many years ago. I give it an 8 too. I was going to say an 8 because there's problems in the narrative here or there. Ending. I still have issues with that ending.
I've heard some people actually complain that, they should have showed the Cenobites. I'm like, no, that's where you fuck up. Use the Cenobites when they're necessary. You use them at the points that they are needed. Do not have them, because that's the problem with all the other fucking movies, is that the Cenobites Pinhead became too much of the focus.
That's the interesting thing of this piece was it's a character-based piece, basically.
Yes.
And that's something... The pinheads are iconic. I really call them pinheads. Good. So keep calling them centipedes. Pinhead is iconic, or centipede is iconic, but he is the threat that should only appear when he is.
And the thing is, he's not even.
The marking.
It's not even more so.
They made sure to do it.
Pinhead's not even like Pinhead's.
But the thing is,
the cool thing about
I'm gonna. God damn it!
Don't touch that. That's my medication from my.
The interesting thing about
I'll leave it right there. That's why, so I can use it. Now, what'd you say?
The interesting thing where Pinhead wasn't necessary that they showed was the thing where it was taunting the girl.
Because Pinhead, like when she tried to throw the
threat still has to be there, but it doesn't. She doesn't do anything. She's just like, I'm waiting, and that's all it is. It's just a quiet background.
But I like the part where Pinhead. When Riley tries to get rid of the box, and she's like this, she's like, don't do it. We want to see you proceed. She wasn't directing it towards everyone. She was directing towards her, because the thing about the Cenobites, and this is something you'll notice in the first 2 films, especially here's a hint of the first film, or like at least in the first 2. Pinhead in the second movie, they used a deaf mute girl. Not a deaf girl, but a mute girl named Tiffany, because she can solve puzzles. She's like that's her tick. She can solve, but she has no desires, nothing. When she opened it at the behest of the doctor, who was watching from a protected area, they came into the room. They were gonna do the shit that they normally do to everybody, but Pinhead flat out says no, and they're like no, and he's like this. It is not these hands that call us. It is desire. So they knew that Chenard had the desire to open it, which means turning him into a Cenobite. So they knew that she had nothing to do with it. She was innocent. They were like, okay, but in this one, since the rules are adjusted, therefore, they lean into the idea, which was also introduced, but not whatever little ideas are introduced in 1 and 2 that are left ambiguous have been made full here. Like the collection of souls, the box itself doing its new configurations, and being given options to show that, okay, the pinheads will offer you, not the pinhead, but the Cenobites will offer something, and it's your choice whether you want it or not. But you need to, I think with Riley is, since she truly had no dark, sinful desires, yes, she had a problem, but she was fighting it herself. That's why Pinhead was very, intrigued with her.
Yeah, she was more intrigued once she just flat out said, piss off. And you're like, excuse me, what? You were supposed to take one of the 7.
Because the Cenobites have never been turned down. Now that they were turned down, that made her, they were like, you know what? You chose the lament of life. But you have to live with the scarring, basically.
Their deal has never been rejected, and that made them even more intrigued, I guarantee.
Yeah, they weren't, she wasn't pissed, but she was fascinated with it. So if they do a sequel, it could be more so that we'll probably learn the origins.
It could open the door for Pinhead, basically, to... You can make it so Pinheads offer more chances, like the one, because this Pinhead took risks. Like she wasn't like the 2-minute wait thing. Like I said, they could start doing more with that and giving them. Now
the only thing about the only thing about her though, if this is still a trope with the Cenobites, and they also have to explain how the fuck Chatterer is even in this movie, because yes, like I said, canonically, original Pinhead and his group died in the second movie. The same with Chatterer, he died, but Leviathan can bring back any Cenobite he so chooses.
I wonder if it's just there for fan service.
Of course, but you have to have, that's the thing, you have to have Chatterer.
That's what I meant. I wonder if Chatterer was in there, brought back for this reboot.
For the fan service, yes.
If that was the main reason that they brought him back.
I wouldn't mind if they called the second movie based, like, where the second movie is just called Hellbound, Hellraiser 2, and the first one's called Hellraiser. Since this one, Hulu, it's called Hulu's Hellraiser, you could have the second one be called what's it called? You could just call the second movie The Hellbound Heart. That would be a good title. It would be a sequel to this, and not only that, you could do what the second movie did, take what's established here and run with it, show us some of the origins of this Pinhead, and they could easily, to not only please the fans, even more so, they need to say that this Pinhead is Kirsty from the first 2 films. That would, that is what would tie this full circle. That is what would tie it into the series. Because it not only takes place, it takes place in the...
As of right now, we think this is
that this is a different... Yeah.
Like I said, for all we know right now, for our opinion right now, from Spectatorial, this is its own timeline. It's these 2009 Star Trek.
You could say that the book happened that had the female Pinhead, and this could be.
There was a book already in the very beginning. If you looked at the very beginning of the shot, there was a book there.
So this could be within the book's universe.
But that's all speculating. But aside, I find it a very good film. It was very enjoyable.
I mean, I watched it twice just to make sure I didn't miss anything. And there's certain aspects, like, I want them to do, like, a standalone lore book, like they do with all these other movies and stuff like that, because the lore that Voight guy had, he probably has the answers that all this has happened before. Because I was looking to see if the event, like, I could have sworn that one of his papers said, the closing of the Channard Institute, which the Channard Institute was the psycho place of the Doctor from the second movie. That could have been a very loose connection. But I have to go back and see, because the way that chick was scrolling through those fucking papers, I was even having a hard time stopping to look. But I think they did that on purpose, because they're like, oh, you want your secrets? They're somewhere in those files. I was like, fuck. That's why I'm waiting for, like, Mr. H, because he studies Hellraiser, like, religiously. So if anybody who would find the lore and could tell us that this connects or not, will be him.
Yeah, so in my opinion, everyone, go watch this. It's not woke at all. It
came out in the right month.
Yeah, before it came out in October.
And then guess what comes out in 14 days? And another on the 14th. Halloween Ends.
Okay, I got one question for you, John. Should this be the final fucking Halloween movie with Jamie Lee Curtis?
Yes.
She needs to die, or he needs to die.
Both together.
Yeah. Okay, I just wanted to know.
But as in Hellraiser, If one series dies, I want to see this one. I want Hulu to continue with this one. The same thing. I want them to continue the Predator prequel films where Predators are going to different portions of time. I want to see a Predator go to fucking Japan. I want to see an actual samurai fight a fucking Predator now, after seeing a Native American do it. I mean, it takes place in the 1715s or 1714, I believe. So the feudal era of Japan is still going on at that time. So it can happen.
And that was already a loose script in the works anyway.
Yep.
So anyway, who says that Prey wasn't?
Pretty much got nothing.
That script had been around for a while.
We talked about some spoilers, not too much because people could actually still watch it. There's a lot of stuff in between. We didn't explain how the twist.
Dude, I have touched on.
We didn't touch the twist, which is something we need people to understand. They can watch this movie and see the fucking twists and turns, which is a shocking, not shocking, but it's like you think you get where the fuck this is gonna go, and it just subversion in the right way. Because I know people hate the term subvert your expectations, but in this one, they subvert what you think you're gonna guess.
Hey, it tricked me 2 times.
Yeah.
That's all I'll say. And I'm a guy who knows narrative law.
You know narrative law, basically.
I was right on a lot of things except 2. The ending, what she pulled the ending.
You know what? Let's just talk, because we didn't really discuss how we felt about the ending. That's one thing. What would your grades be for this? I say that's the thing. I give it a B+2, Jay. It's a great jumping point if they want to continue from here. It's a really good jumping point. This series,
I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So now let's just talk about the spoiler parts of the ending. But this is a trope. I can get where you stand on this. I can accept it because even the shitty Hellraiser films always have this trope. Okay, when Riley makes her wish, and it's called the Lament of Life, and the Cenobites just vanish. That is something except in the first film. In the first film, the Cenobites are banished back by the box. This one, they willingly left because the obligation was done. Leviathan took Voight. And in the final scene of the movie, after Riley leaves with her friend, because she managed to get the life spared of her friend, one of them at least, Voight is taken within Leviathan himself. And we see him, we don't fully see what kind of Cenobite he's transformed into, but we see that he's halfway through the process of Cenobite creation.
Chatter?
No, they won't. They never redo another Chatterer. Leviathan can bring Chatterer back to life at any point.
No, but could you take a form looking like one, considering the teeth?
I think he's going to be something along the lines of some sort of
Chatterer look-alike, you think?
Chatterer look-alike, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. He could be like a 2.0, not as good as the original. Just he'd have the aesthetic, the teeth.
Well, no, I wouldn't mind if he's turned into a. Because in the older movies, they have these things called the Chatterer 2, the Chatterer Beast, the Chatterer 3.
Okay, yeah,
things like that. But you can actually do, since everyone knows the background of Chatterer being a little boy, I think it is fair to allow him to just let original Chatterer die, because that is a fate terrible for
worse than death.
That kid, yes. Ugh. So you could have Voight become the new Chatterer.
I mean, seriously. Ouch.
And they really bring the term to life, demons to some, angels to others, because when he's being transformed, he looks like he's in an angelic realm, but he's fucking mutilated.
Oh God, that was symbolism smacked on my face. You took a giant neon sign saying symbolism.
I got the feeling they're gonna do what they did with Dr. Chernard in the second movie. When you watch the second one, Kill, you'll understand what I mean by Dr. Chernard. I think they're going to do that with Voight. They're going to make Voight the new Chernard, who's basically a human antagonist that became a Cenobite, and he's probably going to do things he's going to be a very fucking dangerous Cenobite, because if
I would say he'd be a dangerous Cenobite because he already got one wish granted. It was cursed.
If they still tie this, if they acknowledge that the first 2 films happened, this is what I could see. The Chernard Cenobite, when he became a Cenobite, he was put into a Cenobite creation chamber. This Voight was personally taken by Leviathan.
Yeah, he had to have his wish granted, so that's how.
Exactly, and that's an addition to the lore that is both taking ideas from the first two and the original story itself, but weaving it slowly. It's just little bits and pieces of the originals, and the book itself are being weaved in. Even ideas that were ambiguous are being explained and expressed. And that is something that they should do. I get that they're still leaning heavy into ambiguity, and I know that's a preferred thing for Hellraiser fans, but for this movie, it's fine with the ambiguity to a point. In the second one,
I just realized why that ending pissed me off, and it's because I haven't had this ending in a while. It's open-ended.
Yeah, probably.
Up to interpretation of how
it's up to interpretation. You can assume that a sequel is going to happen.
It's been a long time since I've had an open-ended movie. When was the last time you had an open-ended movie? Because this is what this is. That's why it's irritating. That's why I couldn't.
Now that you think about it, now that I actually do don't think about it, you're right. Shit.
That's why it probably bugged both of us, because we've all seen a lot of movies, and it's been a long time since there was an open-ended film.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can give you a good open-ending one, but I knew where it was leading into because it was video game based. The very first Resident Evil movie, with the screen out of Raccoon City. Okay?
Yeah.
Nobody knew. We all thought that Mary Sue was going to be executed, but we thought, they're going to take it to Raccoon City.
Yeah.
That's all we knew. That's ambiguous. So it's been a long time since I've seen an open-ended film, because it makes me wonder, well, what are they going to do for Riley?
You know what's funny? What is it? The developers that do all the serial killer games or all these horror games where you play as killers, licensed games. I kind of wish that they would do like a standalone Hellraiser game. There's a lot of fucking lore mechanics that you could actually use in a video game format, and Dead by Daylight gives you like a tease of that when you play as the original Pinhead. I kind of want a video game based on like a horror multiplayer game.
Dead by Daylight having Tentacle Wesker?
Well, the thing about
is it Dead by Daylight having Wesker?
Yeah, they have Wesker in it already. But the thing about what Dead by Daylight does, here's the mechanic when Pinhead pops up. You can find the puzzle box. You can either use it to banish it, or if somebody picks it up, you can instantly locate them. Imagine if you took the concepts that are exclusive to Hellraiser and like to the Hellraiser part of Dead by Daylight and make a full video game on that, where you could drop players into the labyrinth or to an area that's being manipulated by the labyrinth, and you have Cenobite players.
I hate to tell you, that's what Death by Daylight is. You just described Death by Daylight, John.
Yes, but where you can actually get back at them. Like, no generators. Obviously, no generators, none of that. It's basically a race against time. Getting the box, solving it. Each player would have to solve it in order for them to escape.
Okay, which one? Halloween? Because I'll tell you the one.
The first Halloween, because you know why? When you watch the original Halloween, I was actually just watching it the other night. The original Halloween, when Michael Myers gets blasted out the window by what the fuck is his name?
Loomis?
Dr. Loomis, yes. It just ends where you see he looks outside, the body's gone, and then you just see flashes around the house, and then you just see the jack-o'-lantern, and then it's over. The first Halloween, yes.
The one that did that next was 4 for the niece, where the niece is popping up at the end of the staircase, and you hear Loomis scream, "No!" And that's how it ended. I was like, what? That's the very definition of the Killing joke done on the little girl. Because Michael Myers sure made his niece have one really bad day.
But yeah, if anybody who hasn't seen since J-Chip, he saw Hellraiser, he gave it a B. Kage saw it, he's fucking mentally scarred. You have to go back and see all the other ones, but for this one, an actual experience that you haven't seen in a long time, me, out of all of them, look, J-Chip is right. Look, 3 and 4, for continuity's sake, I will say the films officially end at 4, for continuity. But for storyline-wise, it's mainly the first 2 you could focus on. But when it's this one, I really hope that this has a jumping off point. I want to see a new rendition of Hellbound. I actually want to see a new rendition of what this version could do with a Hellbound type of sequel. It might be a little bit, and guess what? Clive Barker is also doing an HBO series based on the first book. So we not only get this new potential movie series, we also have a TV show series that could accurately portray the faithfulness of the book.
Oh my god, we gotta have a talk about TV shows and adaptations one of these days.
I've seen every Hellraiser movie, and this one I still like 3 and 4, but thank God yes, because we haven't had a Hellraiser movie since when the fuck did Hellraiser Judgment come out? I think that was
in the 2000s.
No, but Judgment came out in the 2010s.
That's what I meant, in the 2010s, the thousands.
Yes. I kind of though, even though he can't play Pinhead anymore because of his age, I kind of wish if they showed like an old man Cenobite or an old generation, acknowledge that old Pinhead existed.
Or you could do one better. You get the old man actor, the actor himself, and he gets killed by a pinhead. He's just a random nobody.
That's true. Judgment came out. Oh, Judgment came out in 2017 to 2018. Okay.
So what would you say if they just got the actual actor?
If they got the actor and he got killed by the Pinhead, by this version of Pinhead, it'd be fucked up a little bit. But I would kind of be like, oh, okay, you can have Doug, or have Doug Bradley be a similar character to somebody that just hands out the box to make it spread.
That's what I said. He starts the event and dies. You know what I mean? That's
yeah, it's kind of like that. Or make him the guardian of the lament. Because when you watch the first 2 films, you're going to understand that there's actually a guardian of the lament configuration. You could have him cameo as the guardian of the lament configuration.
I was just going to say the cameo of the Death one would be messed up because it would fit how he was as a Hellraiser to be messed up. So, hey, I'd come back to do that shit to myself. That'd be funny.
Oh, yeah. But
I imagine if someone wrote Freddy Krueger the correct way, the actor himself wouldn't mind coming back to get killed by Freddy.
Yeah.
As long as it was really messed up.
But other than that, there's not much we want to say. Whoever hasn't watched it yet, besides us here, besides so far, there's J-Chip, me, you, Kage. Us 4. If anyone else hasn't watched it, if you have Hulu or if you could borrow Hulu from a family, a cousin, a friend, I say sit down and watch it. It's a 2-hour film. Just know that you do not need to have prior Hellraiser knowledge. In fact,
Hellraiser, I remember the first one very early because, like I said, I was 16 when I saw the last one, so it's been about 20 years since I saw a Hellraiser film. So I'm like, it was good. Also, I would say it's good to just walk into, and guess what? Those 2 hours, they don't feel like 2 hours.
No, they don't. It feels like it's a brisk-paced film.
Yeah, I didn't think 2 hours had passed by the time I was done talking to you. I'm like, you're hearing my reactions, you're laughing your ass the whole time. I didn't realize that was a 2-hour film. I thought it was maybe an hour, 30 minutes to hour and 20.
Yeah.
That's how good it was. Now, I don't really sit there and time my movies, but it didn't feel like 2 hours.
Exactly.
So that is actually a good thing, too. I would give this film that it actually...
And I can smell that they bought Supreme Pizza. So, me and Keo are gonna close this off. Everybody's enjoyed us, and probably tomorrow look out for everybody because we're gonna be taking the Sonic fan base to war for their heresy.
No.
Yes. Scream, rebuke, in the name of the Lord. There will be a war tomorrow. And for the fact that they have fucked with me in my comments.
Go on, say the quote. You want to do it? Hellraiser, do your quote.
Their suffering will be legendary, even in hell.